A child motivates you to get out of any kind of problem, and brings you joy in your life, not sadness. And luckily, here in Romania, there are many teenagers who have abortion. How do you think we can get to their hearts?
So I know that there are amazing groups like Students for Life that Alexandra works with, and a lot of it is simply understanding the humanity inside the life, because that's where it does come to a lot of times is people either actively denying or are ignorant to the fact that the life inside them is a separate human life and has potential and can bring such joy and love and gifts to the world. And so from misinformation or I know so many hurdles in Romania that need to be overcome, but I think just having those moments where you are spreading the truth through education, through social media, through the March for Life, it's showing the humanity, and it is showing that it is a human rights issue, not a reproductive rights issue solely, not a women's rights issue solely, but at the heart of it, it is a human right. And to be pro-life is to be for human rights.
How did you like the Romania and the work in here with people from all over the world? How did you feel here?
Yeah, so this was my first international training with Heartbeat International. I've done several trainings within the States, and we've had Alexandra and other nations come and join us. But this was an honor for me to be able to come here, and I have quite enjoyed it. The energy is just so high, and everybody in the room is on the same mission. So it's very fun to see the networking that is happening. I'm asking them many questions. I'm a curious soul, and so hearing the different perspectives of the cultures that they are living in and hurdles that they are overcoming, the challenges that they face, but then also the hope that they have and the passion that they pour into this. Every person who I have talked to is just so driven and has such a good heart and want to help. And at the heart of it all, that's where they are all called into this movement. It's to help and to serve.
May I address you some questions from your personal life?
Of course.
Tell me about your pro-life story. Have you always been pro-life?
I have, and I am sad that I have no aha moment to state. I grew up a very faithful family, very loving family, and I know my first moment that I had really with the abortion issue was in high school for me. It was a class where we would go over current events. And I remember a friend of mine, he had forgotten to do one of the assignments, so he said, I'm just going to create a debate. And so it was like, okay, what is the debate on? He goes, I'm going to have people who are pro-life on one side and people who are pro-choice on the opposite side, and I'm just going to let you guys speak. And I was like, okay. So ultimately, the room was pretty split in half. And this was back in 1999, 2000.
How old were you?
I was probably 17, maybe 18. And I remember, like I said, it was half and half. But ultimately, it was me and another girl talking and asking questions and having the conversation about it's a woman right versus it's a human right. And the conversation is the same that people have today. But that was my first real moment where it was kind of interesting for me to discover the passion that I had no idea that I had inside of me. It's just, to me, it was so logical. It is a life. We do not take a life. Therefore, abortion takes a life. We should not do it.
Now tell me please about your activity of at Heartbeat. Is more a calling, you are saying?
Yes, we have a saying, it is, God does not call the equipped, He equips the called. And so through college, I have a degree in journalism and communications. And I had worked for a radio station for a few years and also did writing and editing for a newspaper. I learned that I didn't want to do that through my time. I wanted to do something that I really cared about. And so after graduating college, I searched online for a job and just typed in pro-life and found Heartbeat International. And I actually started there right after graduating from the university. And over the years, I started as an executive assistant and then moved quickly into being an event coordinator, so doing some marketing from that aspect. Email marketing and social media were not really a thing when I started, but quickly advanced into those roles and moving to find new ways to connect not only with our centers, but also to educate the general public, and then also for connecting with clients. And so I am a learner at heart. I love finding ways to solve problems. And so those, with every advancement of technology and every new thing we were jumping into, I have amazing colleagues, great leadership, and they're always encouraging growth. Heartbeat International started in 1971, so it's more than 50 years old, but we are still on the brink of all the new things and staying up to date with cutting edge information. And I get the pleasure of interviewing and sharing stories and putting out tips and monitoring all the different articles that we post so that the pregnancy help movement can continue to network and advance in their training as well.
At that time when you entered in Heartbeat International, did you believe that it will grow so much?
You know, I don't know that I had any expectations from that perspective. I've been very amazed, and the growth that I remember the moment that we eclipsed having 1,000 affiliates, and it was a celebration. And now to know that, oh yeah, we're over 3,000 and continuing to grow, it's really exciting. Because like I said earlier, while I knew of pregnancy help organizations, it's, at least in the US, until this year, people didn't really talk about them because I don't know why, honestly. I think they are amazing things, doing wonderful work in the communities, but for whatever reason, they were never in the newspapers or on the news, with rare exception. But yeah, it was just something that wasn't as often talked about. So seeing how much that has grown in spite of no news coverage and little to no publicity has been very exciting. And just to see the expansion as well in the services that are offered, because many centers when I started were starting to become medical clinics, and now they also have online parenting courses and have expanded to having mobile units that go out in the communities to meet the women where they are. And it's been very fun to just see the growth of services and locations.